Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Horizon Forbidden West. It's been a few days since I played. And let me tell you, those few days, I have been sitting around wondering what the heck is about to happen right now as we play more. Because the plot definitely picked up in both, I would say, good and bad ways last time around. If you remember, the last episode that I recorded for YouTube was that basically Aloy here was fighting inside of a cauldron. What had happened was she had gone to a cauldron to install Gaia and have Gaia override Hephaestus, one of the remaining AIs that needs to be reformed with Gaia, so that Gaia could get all her functions back and basically try to save the world from these new Zeniths and just in general from the corruption and from the corrupted machines, right? So as they're doing all of that, the shit kind of hit the fan at the very end. Apparently, the Zeniths found out that they had been there, which kind of doesn't make sense because the whole idea was that everyone else was going to go to other areas, other cauldrons, and use kind of distracting things so that the Zeniths would not know that they were at this particular cauldron. It's called Cauldron Gemini. It didn't work. The Zeniths show up at the end anyway, so somehow their plan backfired or just was not effective. They were able to tell the difference between the activity at the different cauldrons and knew exactly where Aloy really was. And so they show up, and there's a fight, and I'm not going to say spoiler alert, because if you're watching this, obviously you watched it along with me last time, but I'm trying to get the stream viewers caught up. It appears that Varl has passed away. Varl, one of the major characters of the first and the entire second game, seems to have just been murdered in combat, which is pretty sad and disappointing and shocking, but I kind of called it when they literally had a line of dialogue where Aloy says to him, "Wow, Varl, I'm really happy you came along for this mission in particular, because there's no way I could have done it without you." And I'm like, dude, that totally sounds like a goodbye line, and I don't like that. And then look what happened. Okay? So what ended up happening was that while they were basically under siege, this woman Tilda, who was one of the new Zenith people, somehow did a distracting ray of light and distracted her other companions who apparently had no idea what she was doing. Next thing you know, Aloy wakes up alive and well right here. Now, if you've been following the plot, Aloy's other self, Beta, they're both clones of Elizabeth Sobek, the person from the past who had a lot to do with Zero Dawn and trying to save the planet, had discussed that Tilda seemed different from the other new Zenithers, and that basically Tilda was nice to her, had taken her to a virtual representation of what appeared to be like a home on a lake and a nice relaxing place, and that Tilda had actually been like trying to show her and teach her things that made no sense for the reason that she was created. So it was all very confusing. If Tilda is with the new Zenithers and basically trying to reboot the planet, why was she being so nice to Beta? Why would she just have saved Aloy's life from her fellow New Zenith teammates? It doesn't make any sense. So I think we're about to get a ginormous exposition dump, plot dump right here. Okay? So, let's continue. Find out what the hell is going on. I waited 3 days for this, okay? Uzi Gohar tipped $1.50 and wondering why I'm still playing the game when I say the interest has trailed off for it. Because I like it. I hit the button. Because I like it. Listen, this game came out 1 week before Elden Ring, right? And the game actually was interesting for a few days. Some people seemed to like it. Some people didn't. Which is actually, interestingly enough, what happened with the original Horizon Horizon Zero Dawn many years ago. Some people loved it. Some people did not like it at all. In my viewing audience, the game struggled to find traction. And after about 2 weeks of playing it, a lot of people were upset that I was still playing it, okay? I continued to play it, and I eventually beat it. Why? Because I liked it. I wasn't in love with it. I didn't think it was a Game of the Year deal, but I thought that it was pretty cool for what it did and that the graphics at the time were quite good, okay? I like this game. I think the plot is intriguing, and yes, some of the gameplay mechanics can be addicting and fun, and the graphics are outstanding. The world is very, very well designed as well, I feel. Like the different tribes and the culture of each tribe being different and how they all look unique and everything. I really, really like that about the game, okay? So, I'm going to keep playing it if I like it. Is it a great business decision to keep playing a game that people really aren't that much interested in or following? Probably not.
Some kind of
I'm also not known as one of the best businessmen ever, am I? If you take a look at me and my history, I do things that are, you know, I have investment in or I'm emotionally attached to or I feel are right when everyone else is doing sellout shit to make a buck. I don't do that. Okay, so I like the game and I'm going to finish it regardless of the fact that I realize the vast majority of the audience for this game is gone and is not watching me play it. I don't care. You also got to understand there is an ongoing on-demand audience on YouTube who've been watching this playthrough for 30 hours and they'd probably be pretty upset if I just quit it right now. I'm not a quitter. I'm going to enjoy the end of the game, okay? It's that simple. And there are people who like it. Look, right now, there's actually people in the chat talking about that they like it and stuff like that. So there you have it. Infamous Dude 13. I have no idea if there'll be a third game because I didn't beat the second one yet. Probably depends on how this one ends, right?
Just a few favorites from my collection.
So are these? Yeah.
Just before I went off-world. Take a look, if you like. I'm curious to hear your impressions.
My friend is dead. Beta and Gaia are gone, and you want me to look at old paintings?
Don't be so quick to dismiss the comfort we can find in art, or the insight we might gain.
Just examine the art, but I don't think I can. Like, I'm trying to scan the sculptures. It doesn't really do anything, see? I'm assuming that these are supposed to be reproductions of actually famous sculptures. And this is probably a really famous painting. I have no idea. Can I see? I can scan the painting. Celine and Endymion from Gerard de la Race, 1680. I know nothing of it.
Endymion. She's the goddess of the moon, whereas he's a simple shepherd.
Great.
Beside her is the
Nothing. No, I heard enough already.
So she's
no,
sneaking up
I don't need to know the whole explanation of the painting. That's okay.
Him in secret. The torch that
I'm not going to
Cupid
hit
bears
examine anymore.
represents Celine's undying infatuation with him.
Blah.
Though the two must
Blah.
remain apart, her
Blah.
love will forever
Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Woman reading a letter and woman reading music, both from Johann Vandermeer? No, they're completely different people. Wait, what? Johann Vermeer, 1663. Han van Meegeren, 1935 to 1940. It's a fucking ripoff. This is from 1663. This is the same picture, only she's reading a letter. No, she's reading music instead of... It's the same fucking picture. He plagiarized. Holy shit, is this a famous plagiarization in history? That's interesting, actually. That's 100% plagiarized. You can see it's the same woman in the same position, only in one she's standing and one she's sitting. They literally copied. Wow. Actually, can I examine this and find out if it's plagiarization?
My favorite pairing on the left is woman reading a letter by Vermeer, a true master. And on the right is a forgery. Woman reading music, which fooled experts into believing it was a priceless original. Early in my career, I became fascinated with such deceptions. Eventually, I developed scanning software that could detect fakes with unparalleled accuracy.
Huh.
Is that how you made enough money to buy your way onto the Odyssey?
Oh no. I made my real fortune later.
It's very interesting. I wonder if this is historically accurate or if it was made up for the game, right? Shout out to Hiseo X4 who just tipped me $30. Thank you so much, Hiseo, for supporting the ongoing playthrough. And he says the following. Again, thank you for still playing Horizon Forbidden West. I strongly recommend you stock up on everything you can. The last few missions will be tough due to your equipment level. It took me 80 hours to get the platinum because of weapon grinding. I am not getting the platinum. I am just going to beat the game. I am not looking to get a platinum at all. I'm thinking I'll be alright. If you haven't noticed, really the only time that I'm having a lot of problems is when they throw a ridiculous amount of enemies at me at once, and I basically don't have the element I need to stop a certain one. Outside of that, like for example, take a look at that Spinosaurus boss I just fought. It was freaking simple. So I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal, but thank you for the support and the heads up. Jeremiah lamenting the destruction of Jerusalem from Rembrandt van Rijn. Rembrandt's son Titus in a monk's habit. She likes Rembrandt, apparently. The Night Watch from Rembrandt. She loves Rembrandt. She's got 3 Rembrandts. A ship on the high seas caught by a squall, Willem van de Velde, known as the Gust. I think I've seen this one before. It looks familiar, or I've seen similar. It definitely looks familiar to me. Okay. I'm sad that you can't scan these sculptures. I was hoping these would be real sculptures, but I guess not. What do we got here? Lidded ewer for the Amsterdam Goldsmith Guild from 1614. Sure. Frenzy from Artis Quellidus, attributed to 1660 sculpture. Ooh, there's ugly Dark Souls-esque faces on the side. Look. Ugh. Why doesn't it come alive and beat you with 2 giant swinging clubs? That would be Dark Souls. Bacant. Okay, Bacant. Bacant it is. What the? Is something stabbing him in the leg? No, that's supposed to be... What is that? I can't tell. Is that like a... It looks like a branch? A tree? What happened? A branch or a tree with grapes on it. It's like sticking him in the leg. Ow. This looks real. But apparently I can't scan it again. Boy, they really don't like wall art in this game. They only like paintings. They don't like the actual wall art itself. Anything in here? No. Just a side room for no good reason, huh? There's more art over here. I can't see it, huh? She's got a storeroom with a bunch of art on the side. That looks more like Asian influence, like Chinese. Right there. You can hear the glass cracking, but they don't let you go in there. Nah, there's no way in there from here. Alright, let's just continue on. Good evening, Guts. Good to see you here tonight. Sorry I didn't see you say it like 5 times beforehand. Okay. Time for plot dump. Here it comes. Plot dump 101. So where are they right now is the question.
There you are. Feeling better?
How did you find us? At the cauldron? And what did you do to everyone right before I passed out?
All business, I see. Well, suffice it to say we were keeping a very close eye on Hephaestus, knowing we would need it at some point. Your ruse didn't fool us. And as for my little trick, it was an overload of the senses, accompanied by an energy discharge. Gerard and Eric were only momentarily disoriented due to their shields, but it rendered you unconscious while I got you out. Perhaps some breakfast might steady you a bit?
Yes. Thank you, Jamaica Phil, for the super chat. He says he's not going to stick around because he's not this far in the game. I appreciate the support, man.
This was your house. The one you recreated for Beta. In the data channel you shared.
Which we were just discussing.
How perceptive of you. Please, this way.
Did you notice that when she woke up in the cutscene, she didn't have the makeup on her eyes and now it's back?
Everything your people have done? You think I'm just gonna sit down and have a chat with you?
They're not my people. They never were, and especially not now.
We're probably going to get the real story now.
To space with them. And live with them for 1,000 years before coming back. So what made you suddenly turn on them?
Quite simply, this.
Okay.
I held focus. You repaired it? But that means you've seen
incredible things. What you've accomplished in 2 decades of life. 1,000 years at my back and I haven't even come close. I'm sorry if I invaded your privacy, but I had to. In order to understand. To be enlightened. You truly are Elizabeth's blood. With her drive, her sense of mission, her integrity.
Did they ever explain exactly how she died? I don't remember if they did in the first game. Elizabeth, that is.
Shamed me for the company that I've kept. Having seen it, all I want is to help you.
Even if it means stopping your friends?
Especially so. Please, sit down.
For those who don't know, Tilda is played by the same actress who plays Trinity in the Matrix movies. I forget her name at this moment, but I could tell her nose, her facial structure when they scanned it. It does look like that face. That's how I recognized her early on in the playthrough.
Now,
interestingly enough, her voice doesn't sound the same because she's much older now.
By now, you must know that Gerard intends to use Gaia to reboot the Earth's biosphere. Remaking this world to specifications that would only suit us immortals.
Aha.
This process will kill every living thing on the planet.
They don't care about the creatures that used to live here anymore. They want to remake the planet for them.
A clean install.
Not if I stop him first.
Not if we do. And once he and the others are gone, we can work together to fulfill Elizabeth's dream. I'm sure Beta told you that there's a build of the Apollo database on board our ship. A complete collection of human knowledge. With that and Gaia, we could do everything Elizabeth wanted. Heal the biosphere, educate the people of this world, uplift them. Create the world she imagined.
Can you trust her?
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. From what I've seen, your friends are invincible.
I do wish you would stop calling them my friends. And they're not invincible. In fact, a friend of yours has found a way to defeat them.
Silence.
Mm-hmm. We haven't seen in a million years.
Building an army powerful enough to crash through Gerard's precious base.
Regala and her rebels.
Even now she's preparing a final march on the Tanakh capital. When she wins, she'll have the entire tribe under her control. Hundreds of warriors and machines to throw at the base. She's been duped. They'll all perish, of course. But it should be enough to break Gerard's defenses and allow Silence to kill him. Along with all the others.
Using the new weapon he's developed.
You know, hold on a second. Something is up with Silence, and here's why I say that. The entire first game, he says he's someone he's not, right? You find out by the end of the first game that he had these malicious intentions and was actually manipulating things from behind the scenes the whole time. Now in this game, he's barely even in it, right? He's doing all this stuff behind the scenes. He's amassing an army. Who is this guy? He's obviously not just a normal human from Earth. Like, it almost was like he's either super intelligent for some odd reason, or he had prerequisite knowledge of all this going on and was actually manipulating everything to his designs. I find it very hard to believe that he was just a normal person like Aloy was. And all of a sudden, he just stumbled upon knowledge, and now he absorbed it all and came up with this master plan to stop the new Zenith. I don't believe that at all. I think that there's something like very interesting maybe going on behind the scenes with Silence that we're not aware of yet. They haven't explained it yet, because there's no freaking way this guy is a normal person. The way that, look at it. Oh yeah, by the way, he's been amassing an entire army. He fooled all the native peoples of the planet to fight against each other to amass a super army that will throw themselves against the Zenith. By the way, they'll die, but that's okay, because then Silence could kill the Gerard's. What? How did he figure all that out? Something's up. Shout out to Nathan Smith, who did a super chat, and he says, I've been playing the new Final Fantasy. Let's say it's disappointing. It's not a bad game at all. It just tries to be both Dark Souls and Final Fantasy, and it doesn't feel right, which is exactly what I said after playing the beta of it last year. I said that the combat in the dungeons and the like felt good. The dungeons and the graphics were not very good. It was basically like a game that looked like Neo, only fantasy rather than, like Japanese cultural style. And had interesting combat elements, adding Final Fantasy magic and stuff to the mix. But the moment I fought the first boss, I knew this was a Dark Souls ripoff, and I just did not like it. So, I'm sorry to hear that it's not as enjoyable as you might have would have wanted it to be, Nathan. But thank you for the super chat, and good to see you here tonight. Thank you for the support. Okay, let's resume.
Yes, he's found a way to circumvent our shields.
How?
Truly an exceptional man. He's planned for everything. Except you and me. You see, while his army is battering down Gerard's doors, You and I will sneak in through a back way, one that only I know about, while Silence and my friends are busy battling each other. We'll take back Beta and Gaia. Told you I want to help you. I mean it.
Are you gonna eat? I spent an hour cooking that fucking meal. Suck on a potato or something. Come on. Oh, I have choices. Hold on a second. Now, out of all the time, alright, out of all the times in the game that I said, oh, the dialogue isn't important, this is probably the time where if I ask questions, it'll be interesting. So let's actually ask a few questions. Let's start with my focus.
My old focus. How did you find it, let alone repair it?
When we encountered you at the Hades Proving Lab, Gerard saw you as a redundancy. I knew better. You were a revelation. After your dramatic escape, bravo, by the way. Gerard and Eric assumed you were dead and gave up the hunt. I wasn't so sure. When the others were busy, I returned to the lab and searched for any trace of you. That's when I found this little treasure. Not easy to repair, but certainly worth the effort. As I watched your life unfold, you were like a splash of color on a worn canvas. What Liz was, and more.
Did you show it to the others?
Of course not. It was your actions that inspired me to defy them. It's worth noting that if I hadn't found it and watched its contents, I wouldn't have known to save you at the cauldron. You'd be dead.
So I should be grateful?
If you like.
It's kind of unique. It looks like the outfit she's wearing projects some kind of a force field around her that appears to protect her from everything. Like, you notice that all of their skin looked like it was very pale. Because remember, these people are supposed to be like over 1,000 years old. So they've redone their genetic structure probably multiple times to extend their lives. They don't even look like healthy blood is pumping through their bodies anymore. But I wonder if, like, that shield protects them from everything. Like, maybe UV light and everything. Because if it didn't, wouldn't they be getting incredibly burnt by just these natural rays of the sun in this part of the solar system, right? Interesting. Okay, what about you?
So you know all about me. What about you?
What would you like to know?
Well, start with your life on Earth.
When I was 8, terrorists flooded my home city. Thousands drowned, my parents included. I was one of the few who survived. My guardian sent me to boarding school. Among my peers, I was the strange girl, the orphan to be avoided. All because of circumstances beyond my control.
Oh. So we're a lot alike, huh?
Aren't we? You were an outcast. But you didn't let that stop you from getting what you needed. Neither did I. I climbed my way out of desolation and used my wits to build a fortune. First, from the technical analysis of art and the detection of forgeries.
Which we just found out.
Profitable expertise in those days. But as it turned out, the software I developed was even more useful for counterintelligence. From there, it was only a short step to gathering extremely valuable intelligence on my own.
You were a spy?
More like a service one could turn to for information.
The Shadow
I had to
Broker.
remain anonymous, of course, to protect my privacy. But despite that anonymity, Far Zenith inevitably sought me out.
Jesus, this is going to take like an hour to get through all this dialogue. Joining Far Zenith.
What happened when Far Zenith approached you?
They painted an irresistible vision of humanity's future. One where we need not fear illness or death, where we explored the furthest reaches of the stars and thrived. It was only later that I realized that they only intended to bequeath this future to the rich and powerful.
What a shock.
By the time I finally figured it out, the walls were closing in, Pharaoh's machines were devouring the earth. So I accepted Far Zenith's invitation to a berth on the Odyssey. I wanted this to come, but she had nobler plans, as she well knows.
That's right, she refused to leave. She just wanted to keep trying to save the planet, right? by designing Gaia and everything. Oh my god, the other Zeniths?
So you didn't know the other Zeniths were monsters until it was too late?
I knew some of them were. Certainly. It wasn't until we were off-planet that I understood the true scope of their greed. I was grateful to simply be alive, but the others became obsessed with a kind of effortless immortality. They built a colony where machines serviced their every need, where any memory or fantasy could be endlessly savored in virtual reality. It wasn't life. It was stultifying, a pampered dream state.
Like the metaverse.
As the decades passed, I withdrew more and more, alone yet again. But this time with eons to consider my mistakes. Now finally, having met you, I feel like I have a second chance.
To do what?
Help you, of course. To fulfill Liz's dream, which isn't so different from Zenith's original vision. A better future for humanity.
Jade says he does not trust this. I mean, why would you? She out of nowhere decides to turn on her companions and now help you, right? If anything, this could be a power play by her to take over because she doesn't want the other guys to be in power. She wants all the power for herself, so she's going to fool Aloy into thinking she wants to help Gaia, when in reality it's not. She just wants to take everything over for herself, you know? Could be. Deep Fire Elemental tipped me $1.50, says there are deep, deep places in the world that have long burned hot with little regard for the whitening of the Earth's thin skin. Well, there you go. I have no idea what that means, but thank you, Deep Fire Elemental, for the tip. I always appreciate those completely off-topic, random statements that confuse the shit out of all of us when we scratch our heads. All right, let's talk about the Zenith plan.
Beta told me your colony was destroyed. That you came back to Earth because you had nowhere else to go.
It's true. After we reached our destination, a planet in the Sirius star system, we spent decades building a new home. The physical constraints of Earth, the boundaries of mortality, gone. To think of what we could have done with it. It might have been a utopia. Instead, we stagnated, absorbed in effortless comforts and virtual realities. It took a cataclysm to finally yank us out of our stupor.
What happened?
A massive geological event. We knew of instabilities in the planet core, but we underestimated them. By the time the collapse was upon us, it was too late to stop it.
So they had just insanely bad luck.
We set course for Earth, the only safe harbor left to us.
Which you decided to make unsafe for anyone else.
Not me. Gerard. He believes it's better to wipe the canvas clean than work around the smudges. No more primitive tribes, no more combat machines, only a blank slate to do with as he pleases. But we will stop him. All we have to do is get into that base.
So interestingly enough, the Zeniths have nothing to do with Zero Dawn. They actually don't even feel that the Zero Dawn plan is worth working with because they survived and they're different now than the people on Earth, so they don't care about the rebooting of the planet. They just want to start over and have it actually be remade in their image, basically, so that it'll support their new biological makeup. That's an interesting twist, because the whole game I'm thinking it's going to be people who want to reboot the planet again because they feel like this reboot wasn't good enough. But in reality, it's not those people at all. It's a completely different group of people to begin with who don't care about Zero Dawn. Interesting. Okay.
What exactly is your plan to sneak into the Zenith base?
Stand up now.
Make use of a lesson I learned from.
She didn't stand up? Damn it.
Always know your exits. In this case, a place where Gerard's new construction meets the ancient foundation. A passage that only I can access. When Silence flings his army at the base, we will enter through this back door, bypassing most of the fighting. The distraction will provide us with a window in which to rescue Beta and Gaia.
Alright, now before we talk about Beta's, let's talk about Beta, and then we'll talk about Silence. We got a lot to talk about. Let's keep going. Haseo says, even if Tilda does give Aloy the Apollo AI, will the tribes of Earth be willing to learn? Like, right, will they be open to the knowledge? So far, they have been open to the knowledge. For example, you know, the Tanakh, when the true knowledge of the Ten started broadcasting in the museum and it changed a lot of the narrative they had believed, they seem open to it. So, I guess we'll see. Okay.
You said Beta is not in urgent danger, so what are the Zeniths doing to her?
Putting her to work. Merging Hephaestus with Gaia. A difficult, time-consuming task, as I'm sure you know. They will compel her if need be. But her life is not in danger. She's the only one who can do it.
Because you people made her to be nothing but a tool.
Gerard's idea, not mine.
See, she said, oh, I did nothing. I had nothing to do with anything. Yeah, right.
They always viewed me with suspicion when I attempted any form of kindness towards her. That's why I created the data channel. A virtual place where we could speak in peace.
The data channel.
So this channel you shared with Beta, none of the other Zeniths ever found out about it.
Gerard believes he's the most cunning of all of us. Even after 1,000 years, he still can't imagine that I would outwit him. The channel allowed me to interact with Beta away from their mistrustful eyes. It offered us a chance to be ourselves.
Until you cut off all contact.
Yes, though it pained me. I was worried that our meetings would do her more harm than good.
Well, she felt like you tossed her aside.
I was afraid the others would find out and punish her. She may not have had the comforts of friendship anymore, but at least I ensured she was safe. I know it seems harsh, but you must believe that her well-being has always been paramount to me.
It's just so weird that everything she's saying makes her look like a hero or something.
Why did you make the data channel look like this place?
I built this house as a shelter to weather any storm. A safe place. Not just for me, but for the art stored below. Cultural artifacts of incalculable value. Truly some of the greatest achievements of human civilization.
And you wanted Beta to see them?
Yes. Her upbringing was so cold and technical. I thought if she could experience Vermeer and Rembrandt, it would bring something else into her life. A heritage every bit as valuable as the scientific and technical data being drummed into her. I'm sorry I had to cut off contact, but I'll never regret sharing this house with her. She needed its shelter even more than I did.
Okay. Beta's location.
Once we're inside the base, where will we find Beta and Gaia?
Here in the command center. By then, Gaia will have been reunited with all of its subordinate functions, including Hephaestus.
What about the alpha build of Apollo on your ship?
A simple matter of recovery once the others have been dealt with.
Nah, there's
With that
something
in
up
hand,
here.
We'll have everything we need to make this world.
She's gonna hold that Apollo over her head or something. Watch. I don't trust her. Alright, now here's what we really want to know. How the frick is Silence so super smart and know everything about
How do
everything?
you know about Silence's plan?
Exactly. What's going on here?
He isn't the only one adept at spyware.
You hacked his focus?
No, he's too careful for that. But his subordinates? Not so much. He gave additional focuses to the tribals he branded the Sons of Prometheus.
Sons of Prometheus.
By tapping their focuses, I learned about most of his dealings. The distribution of override technology, the arming of Tanakh rebels, and the secret pact with Regala to attack Gerard's base.
But how did he come up with a weapon that can take down your shields?
Exactly.
That's the one thing I haven't been able to figure out, but however he did it, I'm quite certain it will work. With it and the Tanakh army, victory seems to be within his grasp. Such a shame he'll be disappointed.
Oh man, alright, the Tanakh.
Regala's only interested in killing Hikaru and waging war on the Karja. What does she have to gain by attacking Zeniths?
It's the price she must pay for her war. Without the ability to override machines, her little rebellion would have languished in the desert.
So she trades with the Sons of Prometheus. Machines to help her overthrow Hikaru.
In exchange for an assault on the base. pride has deluded her into thinking she can actually survive such a battle. And all without ever knowing who the sons of Prometheus really answer to. Yet for all of Silence's brilliance, still he underestimates you. That blind spot is what will allow us to take Beta and Gaia right out from under him.
While hundreds of Tanakh are cut down outside.
Alright, last question about Elizabeth. I told you guys this was going to be a lore dump, and man, it has been.
So you knew Elizabeth. What was she like?
Liz was everything she was. I see in you. And me. Your ingenuity, your determination, your moral compass. You've managed to distill her greatest qualities and make them your own.
I'm not asking about me. Tell me about Elizabeth. What was she really like?
The honest answer is that I don't actually know. For all the time that I spent with her, she always kept a part of herself locked away. It was like that from the moment we met.
Alright, I don't care about how she met Elizabeth. I don't. She doesn't trust her.
First Varl. Now Hikaru and the Tanakh. Your plan would wipe out an entire tribe. There has to be another way.
We are in an admittedly desperate situation, but I assure you there isn't. Remember Zero Dawn. Elizabeth's sacrifice. Sometimes many have to die for a new world to grow.
If it looks impossible, look deeper. Wait. The data channel. It still exists, doesn't it? I need you to open it. Let me talk to Beta.
Impossible. We might be detected.
It's worth the risk. There is another way, one where the Tanakh survive.
But we won't. If the others...
If you want to help, open it.
Jane says he smells some BS. No, Hiseo, I didn't find any of the Easter eggs in this game to my knowledge. He says there's a Ghost of Tsushima Easter egg. I also heard there's God of War Easter eggs. I didn't find any of them. Alright.
What are they doing to her?
Virtual reality dissociation. The manual merge of Hephaestus will take hours upon hours of tedious micromanagement. If she resists the work, they run simulations to induce feelings of isolation and despair.
She's basically being kind of tortured.
Beta, can you hear me?
You're alive. They're watching me. I can't hold up this extra projection for long. You should have killed me.
Whoa, she's over there?
No, look at me. I'm coming for you. I promise. Okay? I just need you to hold out a little while longer and work on the merge.
She's telling her something. She didn't want Tilda to hear it. Huh.
Then I think it can be done.
I'll contact again when it's time. Can you hold on?
As long as I know you're coming for me, I can endure anything.
Okay.
All right. I did as you asked. Now I think you need to tell me what you're planning.
I'm going to take Silent's army away. I don't need it. Only the weapon he made to penetrate your shields.
And how do you propose to get it? Ask him nicely?
Without Regala and her rebels, he won't have a choice. We'll be his only option.
Only option for what? What did you tell her?
That is between me and my sister.
My sister, she calls her sister now.
We'll be Silent's only option for crashing that base. I'll tell you the rest later. But first, there are a couple of things I have to do.
Oh. And what are those?
Lay my friend to rest. And then I'm going to use the override that Beta gave me at Gemini to put an end to Regala's rebellion. From the air.
Oh, that's right. Didn't it say that she got the override for a bird? It did, didn't it?
Since you insist on doing things your way, I know of something that will truly help you make a grand entrance with the Tenat.
The hell is that?
The ancient Horus Titans still possess electromagnetic energy cells as part of their arsenal.
Oh, it's
Drop one
the
of those
Titans.
on Regala's army, and they'll receive quite a surprise.
Huh. Those
So
are the
go,
giant
do
robots
what
you saw in the
must.
mountains in the first game.
I'll come to your base if you manage to bring Silence to the table.
Not if. When.
Very interesting. So her next job is to basically take over Regala
Erend,
and her arm,
you there?
defeat Regala and her army. See? And then once they're defeated, now Silence has to team up with her to stop the new Zenith. Wow, it's like making your enemy your friend,
Aloy.
even though not really. Like,
Aloy, is that
huh?
really you?
Yeah, it's me. Where's everyone else?
We're all... we're back at base. What happened?
It might be easier to explain in person. I'll try to join you there when I can.
Okay. We'll wait here for you. It's
Jeez,
good to hear your voice, Aloy.
sad, right? Because they all know what happened. They know that Varl's dead. Sterling Malki Yik Enigma. The fuck? All the meanings of the next big thing, a much Bollywood acquisition from our historians or technologists, no less. Bleeding edge science. Young Christ in the temple. So okay, just talking about how she has technology to stop art forgeries. That's all that is. I'm curious if there's anything here, right? Any items or anything on this level? Doesn't look like there is. Look, it's her old garage. Her old hybrid car, yes. Yeah, nice and green. Now it's literally green. Look at that. That's the greenest fucking car you could get right there.
Just
Burns
to let you
zero
know,
fossil
I'm now
fuels.
patched into your focus network.
Oh, no, you are. Oh, that's
I take it the other
obnoxious.
units can't hear us?
Of course not. And they don't know about your base either, in case you were wondering. I've sent you data on the Horus energy cells you can use against Regala's forces. Reach out to me when you're ready to acquire one.
Understood.
It's the balcony we're just at. Whew, man, this is one hell of a plot dump, right? Seriously. I know I have a ton of skill points to use. I just want to explore a little bit. Yeah, see, I knew it. I was like, gee, I wonder if there'll be any
Something's wrong with
items.
this place. I'm sure Tilda won't mind me poking around. How to get through these vines?
Probably gotta go around like this. Alright. So, ladies and gentlemen, the plot dump's over, thank goodness. If you're enjoying tonight's stream and you're having a good time, and you like the fact that we are getting major plot development, endgame stuff here, please consider giving the stream a like. Right now we have almost 200 people on the stream and only about 43 likes. It would be great if we can get that up to the 100 goal that I have for every night. Also, if you're watching this on demand on YouTube, please consider giving this stream a like or excuse me, this video a like, I should say, and or leaving some comments on it. Let me know what you think about the plot dump that we just got. Pretty interesting, no? At the same time, I wonder what's really going to happen here. Can this all be trusted, or is it all a bunch of baloney? Look at this, they had solar panels back then for solar power. I don't know. I don't necessarily know if we can actually trust Tilda. I did not mean to fall. I don't know if we can actually trust Tilda. I think, like I said, she might have her own intentions behind here. I actually think that maybe she was hoping you would just go along with everything she had to say and trust her fully because you had no other options. And then she would probably use that to her advantage to take control at some point. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Here's the other half of her house. Looks like a bar and shit. Oh my god. What a big place she had. So I screwed this up. There was items up there I didn't get. Shout out to the PC Master Race, who did $4.20. Says, look how awful the graphics are. My Windows 97 PC looks better. No, it does not. That is absolutely a lie. There's no way that your 97 PC looks better than the graphics of Horizon Forbidden West. I'm sorry. You are a fibbing fibber. A lying liar. And an exaggerating exaggerator. That's where I fell, so that can't be it. How do I get in here? Could it be right here? No, this is where I was before. No? There's definitely some items down there, but... Darn. Not there. How in the heck do I get over there? Oh, well, I already found something, so this is promising. Gold and silver ingots. Of course, Tilda just kept gold and silver in boxes in her house. Of course she did. Who doesn't do that? Cyber attack by the far-right anti-migrant group Purity Action Europe. Reverse key instructions to the city's new storm surge barriers, rendering them fully open during a massive electrical cyclone. I was one of the lucky ones. Recall survivor Tilda Vandermeer. She's talking about the flood that apparently hit her city when she was a young kid. That's what she made her an orphan. Remember? That's what she said in her origin story there? Okay. Now wait, there's more. Was that one of... It was, wasn't it? One of the metal flowers. Yup, you can see it. How in the hell do I get to that metal flower on that side? After that, we can move on, but how do I get over there? There's gotta be a way. This is her movie theater. Look, she had a private movie theater in her mansion. How fancy. So it showed a metal flower over here somewhere, but I can't get through this wall. This wall completely overrun. How do I get to the metal flower? Wait, there's some out there too? No, that's outside. That's outside of the house. That's not it. So... I wish you could see down better. You really can't see down very well. So it would help me to figure out exactly where the placement of the metal flower is. And maybe where I need to drop. This is a pain in the butt, actually, to try to figure out. Ugh. Did I just do it? No, this is where we just were. Son of a bitch. That's the log upstairs. There's the metal flower. Alright. It's right above us here. And oh, there's another item there. What the heck? There's a door down here? What the hell is this? She's got her own vault down here. A bunker door, heavily shielded, seal maintained. Is that her? This is where she's staying. She's staying in the basement of her house. Oh. Okay. Well, we actually physically know where she is now. That's interesting. Okay. So that's, it can't be here. It's got to be higher up. We went down, but that was interesting to find that, but that can't be it. We've already been through all here. That's the bar and everything, right? Maybe from another angle? Oh my god. Oh my god. Yo! The game's graphics are bugging out right now. Do you guys see that? There's so much detail in the environment. Even on my PS5, the graphics are bugging out right now. The frame rate has dipped tons, and it's chopping up and looking pixelated even on my television. Whoa. That's got to be destroying the fucking the processor to do all that. Holy crap. That's the first time in the playthrough I've seen that on my PlayStation. Like, I've seen it encoding on my PC and stuff. I've never seen it do that actually on my TV. So, the graphics actually exceeded what the PlayStation could do right there. Wait a second, I just realized something. Where the fuck are we? Okay, we're way to the southwest of the map. Oh, okay. Okay. We're southwest of Thornmarsh. Alright. PC Master Race tipped another $4.20 tip and said, if this game was on PC, I could play it at 9K with a 250 frame rate. There you go. Well, good for you. Too bad it's not. And that's thus the shortcoming of the PC. Right? That's definitely the shortcoming of the PC, is that if the game ain't on it, you can't play it. Right? So, Master Race, maybe not as cracked up to be as... Oh, I think I just figured it out. That's the ledge right there. It's gotta be. Now, how in the hell would I grab that? Yeah. It looks like you gotta do it from the rooftop. There's a little ledge to drop down. Okay. So let's go back inside, up the stairs. And we gotta find that little edge to drop down. It is dark as fuck right now. Where are the stairs now? I gotta find them again. We're in the dark. Here we go. God says he cannot wait for the Ghostwire Tokyo playthrough. He says Kirby will not be his cup of tea, though. Alright. Which way am I going? This way? This is the rooftop. So I need to find that ledge. Is this it? This might be it right here. Haha. Nice. Who put this metal flower in my house? That was the wrong button. R1 and I pressed R2. Ah! Oh! Why did it just do that? My eyeballs. Why is it so fucking bright right there? Fuck. Why is it so bright right there? What is that? Is that a glitch? It is a glitch, isn't it? Wow. There's nothing giving off that light. It's just coming out of thin air. It's a glitch. Oh, man, a lighting glitch. That's really bad. Blinds you. Well, guess what? Let's do it even worse. Let's jump out there and blind ourselves. Ready? Oh, my God. It's completely glitched out. Look at the light. There's absolutely no reason for that light to be there. Look at this. Ah! 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 Oh! Oh! What the fuck? That is a hell of a glitch. What in the hell, man? Look at that shit. For no reason. Yeesh. Well, I have absolutely no clue why there's a serious lighting glitch. But I seriously can't see anymore. Oh. Now I lost my vision. I can't see anything. Look at that glitch. Oh my God. Oh. What the fuck, man? Can anyone explain it? Aliens, more aliens landing? I mean, technically the humans are aliens, right? More aliens are landing. I don't know what's going on. We gotta get out of here. We're leaving. Okay. Jesus fuck. At least we got the items, but oh my god, that was a mess. Okay. I always find every bug in every game. You guys know that. Okay. So PC Master Race had actually done another tip that I had missed. He said how awful the frame rate is. A flip book, it has more frame rate. Then he did another $4.20 tip saying, I remember I had a console before my dad got a job. Alright, well, good for you. So we're currently at $48 in tips now. Thank you, guys. Wow. I'm not even lying. My eyes are killing me now. I shouldn't have done that. That was probably a bad choice what I just did. But anyway, how do we get back to the base? The base. Here it is. Jade says he doesn't trust her. And he says, one day I love this. I don't know what you mean by one day. I thought you said you loved it now. Oh my god, my eyeballs. Oh, now the lighting's fixed. Ugh. Some weird shit happened outside. Alright. Of course, they're all feeling defeated after what happened. And they lost Varl.
When you're wounded, you have to strike back. Draw blood.
Hey, can I get one damn minute to mourn my friend?
Regala is going to slaughter my tribe to overthrow Hikaru. The Zeniths have Beta and Gaia. We can't sit around wallowing in our losses.
Kutalo's right. We must fight.
Oh, all right. So what are we gonna do, huh? Take on all of Regala's rebels?
Not to mention the Zeniths. What can we even do? Throw ourselves at their base?
Something like that. So...
After we lost contact with you, we regrouped and went to Gemini. What happened? The recording we found on Varl's focus cut off when that Zenith Eric...
The Zeniths were tracking Hephaestus. When Gaia trapped it in Gemini, they knew where we were. After Varl tried to stop them, they took Beta and Gaia. I only survived because one of the Zeniths turned against the others to save me.
One of them? Well... At least we didn't lose you too.
Why doesn't she seem sad at all?
So what do we do now?
What the hell?
We're going to defeat the Zeniths. And get Beta and Gaia back. But first, we're going to stop Regala.
How?
Back in Gemini, Beta gave me a gift. There's something I need to do first to make it work, but it could put an end to the bloodshed.
Word is, Regala's readying her army for an all-out assault on the Grove. I need to be there.
I know. Go. Stand with Hikaru. And keep an eye on the sky.
Strike true as the 10.
You know, for the fact that you do his mission, his
The
loyalty
rest of
mission
you,
to get him his robot arm, he sure doesn't
Whatever
use
preparations you
it.
need to make, upgrades, resupplies, get on it. It won't be long before we take the fight to the Zeniths.
We'll be ready, Aloy. And when you're ready, meet me outside the east exit. I'd like to have a word in private.
Even when things are darkest, you're the flame that lights the way forward.
Just tell me one thing. Am I gonna get to smash up a bunch of Zenith bastards?
We all are.
Good.
Before I do anything else, I should check on Zoe. It sounded important.
Yeah. She's completely holding in her emotion. She didn't cry or anything, so she was romantically involved with Varl. And you really think she would not have any kind of sadness, or, you know? Something's gonna happen pretty sad, I get the feeling. It looks like we might have a side mission here for Alva.
You look busy.
My studies are a good distraction. Especially after Cult and Gemini. Varl, Beta, Gaia, gone. And that's just the beginning. The Zeniths want to rob us of our future too.
We won't let that happen.
Oh, and if you have a moment, there's something I could use your help with.
If you have a moment, we're trying to save the world. Our friend just died, and we have to desperately go as fast as we can to stop the Zeniths. Oh, I have tons of moments for you, of course. Now is the time for this, right? All right. Anyway.